Good morning, y'all. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is. Dad bod. This is a Father's Day gift. 2 years ago, maybe? It's a good one. It's one of my favorites. Do a little Stell's espresso blend this morning. And this lovely, filming this on Monday morning because I had my in-laws in town, which was awesome this weekend. So I wasn't able to film on Sunday. Kind of week in review preview. We've got, we're still waiting on official announcements. I mean, everyone crushed semifinals, but we're waiting on official announcements and invites as far as any games tickets are going to be punched. If you guys haven't already, the European and Asian semifinals went last weekend, so a lot of fun there. Really good watch. I actually heard too, just listening to some of the podcasts, that the Asia coverage, although it's in Chinese or it's in Korean, was actually really good. Like their coverage, even though the way they covered it, like the flow was really, really good. So even though you don't, unless you do speak Korean, which I do not, that you were still able to fall. So I'm going to dive into that today and watch some of those highlights because I watched all the European stuff. But a lot of good content coming out. And then next weekend, obviously, we have the West Coast Classic. We also have the Torium Pro, which is Australia. And I believe there's one other one, but I'm blanking right now. Also, let me know if anyone's going to be going down to semifinals. I was thinking Sunday. I had kind of warned everyone. Saturday there is a Galaxy soccer game going on when semifinals going on. I was going to look at the schedule and see how it works. I'd still like to go down. I just don't. We got some stuff going on Sunday, so I don't think I can make it happen, but I might try and go Saturday at least for a little bit. So yeah, if you guys are down there, hit me up or let me know when you're coming down. I heard, sorry, I got something in my mouth. So that's this coming weekend. And then obviously we got Murph on Monday. And I apologize. I had, at the time of this filming, I've totally blanked on reaching out to Chris as far as schedule for Beaumont. So I'll get that out to you guys. In Redlands, what we're going to be doing is a 6, a 7, 8:30, and a 10. Now, the 6 a.m. is what I'm calling the early bird Cup of Joe with Coach Joe Murph Spectacular. Essentially, I can only do it at 6 a.m. So I'm going to be coaching the 7 a.m. and then Brian is going to coach the 8:30, 9:30. I can't do it at 8:30, so the only other option is 6 a.m. So I'm going to open up the gym, turn on the lights, but that 6 to 7 is going to be more of like an open gym. Like I'm going to get there a little early. I'll probably get there around 5:30, start stretching, and by like 6:10, 6:15, we're going to get that thing rolling. So that'll be a lot of fun. Then that way I can finish in time and start coaching the 7 a.m. class. And then Brian's going to work out with that class, and then he is going to coach the 8:30 and 9:30. So that's super exciting. That's Monday. A couple other things that I'm working on for June. Murph shirts. I'm picking up, today's Monday. I'm probably going to pick them up on Tuesday. I'm going to try and have everything split by Wednesday, no later than Thursday morning. Make sure I can get those all to you. I would like to get them split by Wednesday afternoon is kind of my goal. So we'll get those. Dude, it is kind of blustery and cold outside. The wind just picked up. Bro. So Murph shirts. We got that coming. We got Murph on Monday. Schedule-wise, stay tuned for that. Oh, and then moving forward, so first Friday, I always want to try and do a barbecue. So that'll be this first Friday in June. We'll figure that out. And then my goal is like that second or third Saturday. So somewhere in the middle of the month, like whatever that Saturday is, the 15th, the 17th, doesn't matter. I want to start doing some gymnastic workshops or just workshops in general, right? So Brian had expressed some interest in maybe, doing one on handstands. I was thinking about getting some of the members that were maybe, we have a bunch of members that were on crew in college, which is rowing. So maybe doing like a rowing clinic. I thought it'd be fun to do like I could do a general aerobic capacity. Maybe have someone do like a bodybuilding one, a kipping one, muscle up progressions. I mean, there's so much we can dive into. But that is my plan, is kind of like every second or third Saturday at 11. So essentially we would lop off the 11 class and then use that hour, that block for the workshop. And it'd be like an hour long, maybe like half an hour of instruction and then half an hour of practical / practice. So we got that coming up. As far as review kind of stuff kind of goes, the big thing from yesterday was the High Rocks. So the other reason I wanted to film this on Sunday, and big round of applause for everyone who participated in the High Rocks. I had heard back from a couple people. Everyone seemed to have a good time. I talked about ballsy. We had 2 people at 5 a.m. this morning that did the High Rocks the night before at 7:30 at night. They didn't get home till like 10:45, 11 o'clock, and then showed up for the 5 a.m., which is cheers to you, Kyle and Andrew. A couple of badasses. So I'm waiting to hear back how everyone did, and then I want to get that posted as far as like rankings and how everyone did. I heard from the 5 a.m., this is not confirmed, but I heard Sarah Pugh signed up last second, couldn't get into the regular women's division, so decided to do the ruck version, which is High Rocks, but you wear a 14-pound backpack, and she won. So big ups to Sarah Pugh, because that is fucking awesome. So yeah, excited to hear how everyone did. I know Adrian crushed it. He said he was feeling a little under the weather, but I think he still did the damn thing in like an hour 13, which is incredible. So yeah, I wanted to participate and had totally forgot, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that my in-laws were in town. So next time, I know it's coming back to Anaheim. I know they normally do one in LA, but I'm down to do one wherever. So I'm looking forward to jumping in with you guys next one on that. So stay tuned for that. Look forward for the Murph. And then we got barbecues and a bunch of other exciting stuff coming up. I'm working with Coach Kelly right now on a little 8-week, I don't really want to call it a challenge, but kind of a nutrition seminar kind of thing. We're going to base some of the principles around intuitive eating, which is something that I've been diving into, and then Coach Kelly's been getting a certification in. So that'll be a lot of fun, and we'll have a lot of really good content for you guys on that, as far as on the YouTube channel and Instagram. And then we'll have some weekly meetings, and just a good way, especially going into summertime, and kind of kickstart the diet and give people some tips and some tricks in order to, eat healthier, which is something that is always good. But I don't believe, like I've talked about in previous videos, this idea of like restricting everything, almost like you're cutting for something. You got to be able to allow yourself, to go out to dinner and to have dessert if that's your thing, or to have pizza with your friends or your kids or whatever. If you're so restrictive, it won't last. Like, you can hang on for 6 months, maybe a year, maybe. But honestly, for most people, it's a month or two. You just can't go that hard, and you got to listen to your body and fuel yourself. And, like I talked about before, some of this stuff is literally just experimentation. Speaking of, that kind of segues into something else I want to bring up. I was talking with Andrew S., who works out at 5 a.m., and we were talking about that he was struggling a little bit with, he would work out at 5 a.m., maybe have a little snack before, and then eat his breakfast. But he said by like 10 a.m., he was just like crushed, like starving, like legit belly hunger. And this is something that, a principle that I've been working on, is trying to understand the difference between, let's say belly hunger, like you're hungry, and just bored. right? Like trying to identify that and really think about it. Like, am I actually hungry? Like, do I need to eat, or am I just bored or I'm looking for a distraction. Like I don't want to sit here on the computer, so I'm going to go eat snacks. But he was talking about like legit hungry, right? So I said, dude, just bump up your breakfast a little bit. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we had talked about what he normally ate for breakfast, and say it was, half bagel, 4 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon. It was something like that. And I said, dude, bump it up to 5 or 6 eggs. Let's just see if that fixes it. Because at the end of the day, it's not like have another muffin or have another cupcake or have another scoop of ice cream. It's have another egg. Like, you're going to be good. Have another 2 ounces of chicken, have another 50 grams of broccoli. Like, it's not have a second bowl of cereal, and I'm not against cereal, by the way. I love cereal. Barrett's been super into cereal lately, and it is deadly because now it's just in my house. But I digress. So, he had come back to me today and talked about that it really helped, and it's this idea that you can get stuck in these patterns where you almost become too dogmatic about it, and like, like I can only eat 4 eggs, like a 5th egg is really going to end you in the world. But maybe bumping that breakfast up a little bit then also not only made him feel better, but stopped him from grabbing the muffin or the blah blah at the office because he's just starving, right? Or the donut that's laying around, because he's actually full. He's like, no, I'm good. So just something to think about. Stay tuned. More details to come on that. I'll hopefully have some more announcements about that stuff next week. But yeah, other than that, we got an awesome week. We got awesome week of programming this week. And then next week, we got Hero Week, which is always a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite times. And we'll kick that thing off with Murph. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. As always, like, comment, subscribe, ask questions, put stuff in the bio. People have been asking me about putting the links in the bio. I will do it. I'm getting better at it. Thank you very much for being patient with me. Thanks for tuning in, and let's have a great week. Thanks, guys. Deuces.